5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Talk radio.
You hear us, we hear you.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. How are you? Oh, you missed us last week. Yeah, it's a temporary angle.
Yeah,
it's going to get a bit lowered next week.
Yeah, that was Sue doing a signing job.
Oh, living about, yes.
And a lot better than the one at the funeral.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the KTPF Community Show. Hi, and as you can see, those of you who wasn't with us last week, we are getting there, and we have no more boxes.
Yeah. Have you answered Jackie? She said, "What time are you ringing her?"
I've already spoken to her on the phone, silly.
Well, she's come up. I can't help that. I've just got it on an email.
Did you not remember the conversation we had about 2 hours ago? Yeah, it was about that long. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is the KTPF Community Show, live from Manchester, in Greater Manchester, Greater England, Greater Britain, whatever you want to call it,
Right
UK. But basically, just want to let you know, if you're new to us, we are not a radio show per se. We are just a group of friendly people having a chat on a Sunday night, and we introduce guests to you. Like tonight, we've got Jacky Newcomb coming back on tonight, and she's going to be talking about messages from lost ones, I should say, and the signs that they give you in dreams and visions and stuff like that. So, so that should be good. Shouldn't it, Steve?
It should indeed. Looking forward to hearing what she has to say.
Yeah, we love having Jackie on the show, and
don't forget, guys, we want questions from you.
Yes,
so we can put to Jackie. Maybe you can find out things that you want to know.
Yes, definitely. So that's what's happening. You might see Roxy twaddling around on the floor somewhere or another, as usual. Getting her all in somewhere, isn't she, Steve? She's always got to have a look in.
Oh yes.
So, we've also got Andy coming on later on. That's our Andy Mercer, and he's going to be talking to us about his night at the cage and the past life regression that he did with John, who's just come on the chat room. Funny enough. That was good timing, wasn't it, Steve?
It was, yes. Yeah,
so what I'm going to do is, while we're here, I'm going to quickly go through and see who is on the chat room at the moment. We've got Reiki Debs. Welcome back, Reiki Debs. We missed you last week, and I'm assuming that your beloved is there, Lee, listening too. We've also got Andy707 down there in Essex, and we've also got Aggie, she's on there waiting. She's been waiting for quite some time, ready to listen to Jackie.
Yeah, she came in nice and early, didn't she?
And we've got John Mysteria. He's back. Hi to you as well. And we've also got Renter Ghost Rider 2873. Okay. But, hi, John. I can remember what happened. Oh, if can remember what happened. Yeah. So if you can remember. If not, we can always have John on as well, and he can tell us his take on it as well. So he can come back on and talk to us about it too, can't he, Steve?
He can indeed, yes.
Why not? This is the question. Why not? So, I don't know what kind of week you've had, ladies and gentlemen. We've had not a bad week, have we? We've been getting everything spick and span, finishing off the unpacking. Haven't we?
Yes, no boxes left.
No boxes.
No boxes left, all the shelves up, all the pictures up.
Yes.
Just a couple of bits to do.
Yeah, just a couple of little bits to do now. All the fiddly little bits that you normally end up forgetting about, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
So, because you always remember the big bits that you need to do, like the painting and God knows what else. And then all of a sudden, it's all the fiddly bits that you seem to forget all about. Not you in general, everybody. So it's not been too bad. And yesterday we had an invest.
We did.
We was at Sheffield Town Hall.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at what John's put.
What about his picture?
Yeah.
Okay. But as I was saying, we was at Sheffield Town Hall last night, and it wasn't too bad a night, really. The only downside to it was there was a lot of emergency lighting in most areas, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was, but like we all say, it doesn't have to be dark to pick up stuff.
No.
We did pick up quite a bit, but spirits weren't very forthcoming.
No, they wasn't.
We knew they were there. We could sense them, and not just the sensitive per se, but even the virgins that was with us.
We had 14 virgins with us last night. That's paranormal virgins, to those that aren't sure what the hell we're talking about. We had 14 people on the Invest that has never been on one before, and 10 of them thought they were going to be leaving halfway through the night because they didn't think they'd hack it, but they did stay all the way through. And they made the night for themselves as well as us, which is what it's all about. And we had one guy on there and his wife's, and basically at the end of it they thanked us, didn't they? Because normally, because he's been with other groups before, he felt as though we was, we got him involved in everything. I don't know where he's been going, but
I think he normally feels as if he's
alienated, I suppose.
Just pushed to one side slightly because
he's
with other groups.
He has been with other groups and stuff like that. So, but no, not sacrificial, not sacrificial virgins, Andy.
All wives, John.
No, all wives. So anyway, so yeah, as a place, they say about Sheffield Town Hall. When we first went round and had a look at it, they've had a few people that have been there, and they seem to have had some quieter nights than what we had yesterday. But there's a rumour, I say it's a rumour, that there's supposed to be green ooze that seeps through the
Was ist ooze?
Was ist ooze? They seem to have green ooze that seems to come through the walls of the cellar area. If you've ever been to Sheffield Town Hall, just at the back of it, there's a beautiful fountain area, and there's rumours that was supposed to be
Peace Garden.
Yeah, the Peace Garden. There's rumours that it used to be a graveyard.
Well, so the town hall itself is supposed to have been built on half a graveyard.
Yeah.
And when they were doing the Peace Gardens, they find that they forgot to take some of the deceased out.
So, but apart from that, it wasn't a bad night.
No, it was a good night. We picked up some stuff. We had some fun with the old pendulum.
Yeah.
The Schumann pendulum.
Yes. And
the Ouija board actually worked for once.
Woohoo!
Got some movement.
And we had a door slam. But was that the wind?
We had a door open.
Well, open, yeah.
And that wasn't the wind because it was shut.
So we were picking up a lot of EMF, but it was noticed that the place was full of Wi-Fi. So maybe that was down to that.
Yeah.
So
Wi-Fi connections everywhere.
This is it. But yeah. Like Andy said, it was probably just mould that comes through, which probably is.
Oh, don't be a sport, Andy. It was ooze.
It was ooze. Fastest ooze. Dear. So
Slimer.
And just for Andy's sake, if you're wondering why we always say "Was ist ooze," it's a line from a film called GI Blues with Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
He's not happy about my hallway, is he?
He's laughing.
Oh, I don't know. Well, anyway, so that was last night.
It was it.
And then this morning we had to run around the estate looking for a little white dog at 4:30 in the morning because she shot out.
She decided to do a runner.
Yes, not what you want after an investigation. So for the next half hour we were looking for Roxy. But we finally found her, as you can see.
It's not nice hitting her with your hands, it hurts.
No.
Solid little bugger she is.
Right, well John's just saying he hopes the sword does not fall. Don't want to see any beheading live.
Think of the ratings.
You wanted controversy? Okay, so
That's it's not so much the sword on this side, but it's the axe on the other side.
Yeah, that's quite heavy. So, but anyway, what we're going to do now is I'm going to play this advert because I seem to be missing it out, and then when we come back, we're going to do the observations because we've got Jacky on at 9. So we'll see you in a bit.
The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store is a one-stop shop for all of your ghost hunting gadgetry needs. Run by ghost hunters for ghost hunters, the shop is filled with all of the latest in investigation equipment, shipped in from all around the world, from high-quality digital dictaphones to EMF pumps, infrared illuminators to laser grid pens, CCTV equipment to data loggers. All of our equipment has already been imported, so you can buy it safe in the knowledge that there will be no hidden costs. And with our postage promise, you'll never pay more than the actual postage price. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.
Yeah, that's from our friends down there at the Paranormal Investigation group in Sussex, East Sussex, I think it is, Tim Brown. So if you want any of your gadgets, there's one choice that you can go to, but there are other outlets where you can buy your paranormal failure.
There are other stores available.
So,
but it was quite good because they come in just as what's it called?
Who? Tom's Gadgets went out.
Hey, just as Tom Gadget seemed to disappear.
Yeah.
Pig's Ghost Store came in.
Well, this is it. I don't know whether Tom's Gadgets come back yet, but I haven't seen
I don't think they was responsible.
So, but as I say, we've got a few people in the chat room this evening, and Jacky's just come in. Hello, Jacky. Looking forward to speaking to you at 9 o'clock. But until then, we're going to go over to Steve with the observations. Steve.
Right, this first one, to my mind, isn't particularly paranormal, but it's all down to greed. But I will read it anyway. I have shortened it because Susie said it's too long.
Go on, get on with it.
Suspected witch is burned alive by Christians in Kenya. Growing desire for land along Kenya's Indian coastline are allegedly causing a rise to witch lynchings by residents to intimidate their elderly relatives who own the title deeds. One lady, Sadaka Maru, is 100, who owns 12 acres of sought-after land in the coastal of Kilifi County, claims she was told by her grandchildren that they would burn her alive after investors asked about purchasing it. The frightened grandmother was allegedly dragged naked from her home in January by relatives who turned up without notice and told neighbours they had caught her doing witchcraft. Fortunately, she was saved by Councillor Teddy Mwamberi, who drove her away to a rescue centre. Now, this is not just a one-off. This is happening quite often. Apparently, you can get your relatives killed for the price of 30 quid.
Oh my God.
That's all it costs.
Hang on, who can I think of? No, seriously.
To get somebody... I do have I will put it up for you, but I will warn you that it's...
very graphic.
The video itself is very graphic, but I will put the link up for you to look at. But as I say...
If you're that way inclined.
Be warned, it is quite graphic. There we go. That's the link. It's very graphic, as I say.
Deb said she saw a documentary about it. It's awful.
It is. I mean, this is just not Christian to my mind at all. In contrast, though, just so we can say that not all Christians are this bloody stupid. WestJet set up a Santa ticket scan. So you scan your ticket on this electronic Santa thing.
Yeah.
And what it did, it asked you what you wanted for Christmas.
Oh, right.
Not just the children, but the adults as well.
Yes.
And when they flew back into the country, instead of their bags coming down the carousel, all their presents all wrapped up and labelled, ready for them.
That was nice.
I mean, obviously, to them it was paying back, but obviously it meant to get more people going with them. But it was just a nice thing for them to do.
It was.
So, as we say, not all Christians are complete idiots. Okay, New York, believe it or not, is the home to the largest unmarked gravesite in the US.
Really?
Oh yes. You won't find Hart Island on New York subway map or even on the city's official bicycling maps. In fact, very few living New Yorkers had even caught a glimpse of the area that's home to the largest mass grave site in the US states. The city of New York has tried to hide the island from the public, and trespassing is taken very seriously by local authorities.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ferry to the island was shut down in 1976.
Wow.
Located just a stone's throw from the Bronx, this island is currently a dumping ground for diseased New Yorkers whose bodies have been not been claimed by family members. To add to the macabre nature of it all, the bodies are dumped in trenches by Rikers Island prison inmates, who often construct makeshift coffins to mark the graves. Astonishingly, it's been estimated that between 750,000 to 1 million people have been buried there since the Civil War.
Wow.
The current population of New York is only 8 million.
Really?
So we're talking an eighth of the population of New York itself is buried on this island. Let's bring this down a bit. The mass cemetery is also used to bury amputated body parts. The Island of the Dead, as it's often referred to, houses an abandoned prison, a woman's insane asylum. Why a woman's one, I do not know. Which are both still standing today. In fact, there's almost nothing about this island's history that isn't creepy. There were several prisoner of war camps built there, and then in the 1870s, the island was used as a quarantine for people who had yellow fever. This place makes Shutter Island look like Mr. Rogers' neighbourhood. Toiling in these dark, gloomy environments, prisoners who work on Hart Island report feeling people are watching them. Others have seen figures and heard voices screaming in abandoned buildings. In one of these abandoned structures, the whispers of children have been reported. Just off the harbour. Stone's throw
I wonder if Doc knows about that. Hi, Doc. Nice of you to make it, as you said. So I wonder if he knows about it being in Minnesota. I know New York's probably a while away, but it's still in America.
It's quite a way.
So what else have we got there, Steve?
This is a little short one. Mystery alien creature seen in Bristol Harbour.
Oh, yeah.
Experts were baffled after video footage emerged of a glowing alien-like creature swimming in Bristol Harbour. Stunned eyewitnesses filmed a mystery luminescent tentacled being which was flashing a variety of colours floating close to the top of the water. To me, it looks like a squid.
Right, okay.
And coming up from the deep, it could be covered in luminous organisms. I can also put that link on for you.
Yeah, they can tell us what they
they've
think
been good,
as well.
and you can tell us what you think.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite obvious personally, but your views would be appreciated.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Where are we going now?
We're going to go back to New York.
Back to New York.
New York residents have been kept awake by eerie howling from New World Trade Center.
Oh dear.
Puzzled New Yorkers are reporting an eerie sound coming from one of the World Trade Center buildings. A strange howling from the building is even kept local Tribeca residents at night wide awake. I first heard this very eerie sound during Hurricane Sandy last year.
Yeah.
Kenny Cummings told the Tribeca Citizen. Now, to me, that's your first clue.
Go on.
The building's 104-story Freedom Tower is 1,776 feet high. That's 541 meters, for those who like it in metric, making it the tallest building in the US. On top of the tower, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Is a spire, which appears to be the source of the disturbance as the wind races through its lattice-like design.
Okay.
I mean, come on. Hello.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would be it. Have you got the last bit there? Sorry.
I've got a couple of RIPs.
Right. Can you just before you do that, can you click on that link yourself and then copy it again back into the chat room, because that one's not working. It's too long. So
it's too long.
Yeah. So if you can find the link again for that and put it back in the chat room.
I can do that.
Because I don't know whether that's too much of a long link for it to work. So see whether you can find it.
1 second there.
So,
There.
so you have some RIPs coming up. Does that include our dear friend?
Took me straight into it.
Right. Okay. We'll just.
So I don't know what the problem is there.
Okay. So.
Took me straight into the link.
Right. I'll tell you
Oh,
what
there
to
it is.
do. If you click on there and where it says share on the actual video, it should come up share somewhere. There should be a share symbol.
There is a share symbol there.
Click that and it should come up with there you go. Copy that.
Share it to Facebook. But that'll share it to my Facebook, not
No,
anybody.
share the link because it just should be at the top there. Is it there?
No, I've got share, but it goes Facebook, Twitter, or in a message. That's all it's saying.
Right. Well, we'll find.
That's
We'll
the
do
only
that in a
option.
minute.
I don't know what. I mean, what I did with that is I just copied and pasted it into the
Right.
what's it at the top, and it worked fine.
Copy.
It
Right,
went
okay.
straight in.
Well,
So-
it's not getting all the link. That's the trouble. It's not covering up all the link. So try again. If not, put it on the Facebook page. And then try again.
Okay.
And I'll put it over while you're telling the rest of them about the others.
There we go. Try that.
Put that back on. See if that works.
I will put it on Facebook as well. 1 second.
That's going to about.com.
It does go to about.com.
All right, but nothing's happening.
No, you saw on mine the video was there
Yeah.
to be watched. That's the one we put it on, isn't it?
Yep. Put it on there for a minute, and I'll get it. Quickly. Time is fleeting.
Fleeting. There you go.
Okie dokie. Go back to what you were doing.
Well, we're trying to post anyway. There we go.
Okay.
As I say, I've got a couple of RIPs for you here.
Mhm.
Colin Wilson dies at the age of 81. British writer Colin Wilson died last night in Cornwall just before midnight local time. Wilson, who became a celebrity at 26 on the publication of his first book, The Outsider, in 1956. He was a prolific writer on a wide variety of topics, from philosophy to special attention to existentialism of literature, history, and the occult.
Mhm.
Wilson never won what one might call a traditionalist, but he was an introverted critic of modernity and a defender of religion against its materialistic positive detractors. One of the books that you might remember him for is Ritual of the Dark, which came out in 1960. His science fiction The Space Vampires was adapted to the silver screen by Toby Hooper under the title Life Force in the mid-80s, but the adaptation did nothing for the author at all. Also, you may have heard that a friend of the show, Lloyd Pye, passed away as a result of cancer at approximately 6:15 p.m. CT USA. Lloyd was surrounded by his family and died in his mother's arms. He was 67 years old.
Yeah, and we've got Amy Vickers coming on the show in the new year,
have-
talking about the Star Child project and life after Lord Pye.
See what's coming next.
How they're doing, okay, and what's working there.
Yep.
So
That's me. So if you want to do your little bit there.
right, yes, I'm just going to let you know about this one that was in the Daily Mail this week. I'm sure you've heard about it. There was a young lady who is a Wiccan, and she was sacked for taking Halloween off to attend a Wiccan ceremony. And basically, Karen Holland was accused by Sikh bosses of discriminating against her faith, but they said she was sacked because they caught her stealing. The tribunal found in favour of the Wiccan witch Karen Holland and awarded her £15,000. It's the first. It's believed to be the first payout of its kind in Britain. Basically, she did. Take the day off, and it is a Wiccan ceremony, I must admit. Now, to be honest with you, a lot of people take off traditional celebrations and stuff like that, even the Sikhs themselves, so maybe it was right for them to pay out. What do you think on this? Do you think it was right for them to do it? So, see what you think. So
Well, it is classed as a proper religion these
yeah,
days.
it is
So
really, isn't it?
that being the case,
Yeah.
I would say then you get time off for Christmas.
Well, this is it. We do get time.
It's
If she took the day off, then what's the problem? Well, this is it. So basically, Mrs. Holland was later accused of stealing a magazine and a lottery ticket and fired. The Sings gave her £204.76 as 2 weeks' wages, but no redundancy pay. She was also barred from returning to the store. She took the policies to court claiming unfair dismissal, sex discrimination and religious discrimination, and she was awarded £15,337.12 in total, including £6,145.44 for unfair dismissal and £9,000 plus £95.84 interest for both of the other charges. The tribunal in front of the judge, in front of Judge George at Watford, found the way she was dismissed was indefensible and breached the basics of national justice. The ruling stated she described him, her boss, as seeming revolted by the idea that she was a Wiccan and was made to feel that there was something wrong with her. There was a look of disgust. It was scary were the words she used. I must admit, if you have got, I can't see a problem with that. Did she take it as a holiday? Not quite sure.
It doesn't actually state that.
It doesn't actually say, to be honest with you.
I think she just took the day off.
She said, I never asked my staff if they are Christian, they said, Muslim or anything else. He said, she made this up. She has no witnesses. I don't know how I will pay her, said her boss. She said, I did not know. He said, I did not know about her religion. So basically, they insisted that they caught her stealing and showed her CCTV footage to prove that what they had seen before sacking her. But the footage later was deleted because they did not think they'd have to produce it again. Apparently.
Oh, very silly.
Yeah. It's not like looking. That's a bit weird English. Into being a Muslim or being a Catholic. It's not like going to church on a Sunday. It's a draw. It's a pull. It's a way of life and total way of life. Which I do agree. There is a lot of Wiccans out there. It's been introduced in England in 1954 by retired civil servant Gerald Gardner, who claimed to have been initiated in 1939 into a coven of witches in the New Forest. Dubbed the father of Wicca, Gardner wrote a book called The Book of Shadows, containing spells from which most modern witches draw inspiration. And according to the 2011 census figures, it shows that there were almost 12,000 Wiccans in the UK.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, being a Wiccan, not all of them are practicing, obviously.
No.
But at the same point, did she actually ask for time off? This is another thing we don't know. Did she ask for it and they said no?
It doesn't actually say, to be honest with you.
So,
but it doesn't really say what happened. It just says that she took the day off, basically. So it doesn't say she booked it off or anything like that. So,
Yeah. What's your view of the thing in Bristol Harbour?
The Bristol Harbour. So yeah, we need to know about that. So
yeah.
Right.
Like I say, to me, if you watch it, it does look like a bit like a squid.
Right, like Reiki Deb said, unless she didn't have any left, and then she should have asked for time off unpaid. But Doc said, from what I heard on IBC, that she had it off. You could have put that a bit different.
Yeah.
And she got a staff to cover her shift.
Well, in that case, she didn't just leave them without staff.
Yeah. So, but as I say, the jury's out on which way it happened. But the jury was in to say, that
she gets paid out.
She gets paid out.
What's that, Andy?
Yeah, I don't know what he's put there. CTHUTLTH. Yes.
Cthulhu. Is that some pagan god?
I don't know. But he can come on later and correct us. You know what he's like for that. Right, okay. Well, it's just after 9 o'clock, and I have a young lady waiting for me to give her a call. And so...
well, John said, bless you, Andy. So,
so what we're going to do is we're going to call up Jacky. If I can just remember where her number's gone. 2 seconds.
Oh, is that the animal you think it is? Is that what that is? It's in Bristol Harbour. Cthulhu.
Right. Give me a minute while I just dial this number.
Yeah. It's what kind of creature is that, Andy? Is that like I suspect some kind of squid-like creature?
894. Can I just say, do remember, please, that if you ever have any trouble with the internet, with live stream, because they are American source, please bear with us. If we disappear, we will be back as soon as possible. And also, if you have a problem, just refresh. You can get us on ktpf.co.uk, or you can also go to livestream.com/ktpf and get it there. Okay, and we are recording, so if you do have a problem, don't worry, it will be on YouTube sometime this week. So don't mind me, I'm just still trying to dial this number. Right, okay.
Oh, the way dialing that, the creature that Andy's talking about, it's been described as a mixture between a giant human, an octopus, and a dragon. Wow.
Hello.
That is some creature.
2 seconds. Right, okay. We've got Jacky on the line.
Do you have Miss Jacky?
I do have Miss Jacky.
Then over to you.
Good evening, Jacky. How are you? Good. Right, my numbers punching is not very good at sometimes. So, and not only that, it doesn't light up very well, so I do have trouble seeing the numbers. So hopefully everyone can hear you on chat room. So would you like to just say hello to everyone? Hi everyone. So I'll just make sure that we've got you up there. Hi, one more time.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
That's better. Right, okay, no problem. So anyway,
oh, it says I'm very quiet, look. Oh.
Right, yeah, no, okay. You're right. We just turned you up there a bit more.
Okay.
Right, okay, so Jacky Newcomb, how have you been?
Oh, very good, thank you. I think I've moved again at least once since I spoke to you last, if not twice, I can't remember.
Oh, God, why do you keep moving?
Oh, well, I had, we moved down to Cornwall.
Yeah.
Because it's fabulous there. But then my daughter and her partner told us they were having a baby. So then I was like torn, and I thought, oh, I want to come back.
Yeah.
So I've got a lovely little granddaughter now, Cheeky Monkey. And yeah, I wanted to be back near her.
Yeah.
Big softy.
Very softy. So you're a grandmother then?
Yeah, no, I'm Nana Jacky.
Nana Jacky.
Nana Jacky.
Yeah. Gotta get it right.
And what did your daughter have?
What? Oh, little girl.
Little girl.
And she's named her?
Peyton.
Peyton?
Yeah, Peyton.
As in Peyton Place?
Yeah.
Ah.
That's the one.
You're showing your age there, girl.
Yeah, I think I'm showing my age.
She's a bit spooky. She's a bit spooky though, because when she was, she's nearly 3 now actually, but she used to say that there was a man in her room at night time.
Yeah. And
then when she saw a picture of my dad, who's been gone nearly 5 years, she never met him. She pointed him out.
Right.
So he's the one that comes to visit her, the spirit of her great granddad.
Yeah.
And she said once, he brought a lady with him, so I'm guessing that's his mother. So she's very aware of spirit.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Watch this space.
Yeah. Maybe she has your gift.
Yeah. No, I remember last time we spoke, you'd written a book. Yeah, or was it your sister I spoke to? You'd written a book about your connection with the spirits.
Yeah.
And the angels.
That's right. Well, my sister and I wrote a book together, and that was about my dad.
Yeah.
Because he came just before he died. We said to him, Dad, when you go in the far distant future, knowing he was getting close, we said, will you come back and help us write a book? And he said, of course I will, my darling.
Yeah.
Will you pay me? He said. So quite how we were going to manage that. And then after he crossed over, he just kept coming back and visiting different people in dreams and things like that. But people who didn't even have a clue about the sort of work that I do, the family members, old friends, that kind of thing. And so I realised that the book was him coming back to visit. That was that was what he was trying to do. He was just trying to come back, and he wanted us to share those stories with people.
I remember when Steve's nan was alive, and they knew that we were she knew we was investigating the paranormal and everything. She always said to us, "Did you ever find anything?" And I said, "No, not all the time." I said, "It's 10 a penny. Sometimes we'll get something, sometimes we won't. But it's not very often. It's not something like I've always said. You can't turn it on like a light switch."
No, that's right.
And I did say to her as a joke one day, I said, "If anything happens to your nan, will you come back and just tell us what's going on? Whether there is anything after death."
Yeah, we all seem to do that, though.
Yeah, and I never thought she'd really came back, but for the first 6 months of her gone, our TV kept turning over.
Oh, love it. That's that.
And we'd be sitting there, are you sitting on the remote or something? No, it's on the table.
Turning over, turning the sky off.
Yeah, turning the sky off or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell's going on here? So I'm not sure whether that was her saying, here's your sign, you know what I mean?
I bet it was, because they love using modern technology.
Yeah.
And what seems to us as if it would be something, extremely clever, I don't think it is clever for them. I think the ability to manipulate electricity, for example, seems to be something they can do in a straightforward way. I mean, for example, my dad, just before he passed away, he was talking about Michael Bublé song.
Yeah.
And, he was talking about sitting on a rainbow, as sort of part of his thing. And a couple of days after he died, my sister had walked out of the room to make a cup of tea, and the television had switched over when she was out of the room on its own, and it was Michael Bublé singing about sitting on his rainbow.
Oh, wow.
And, you kind of think, coincidence, if you like, but of course when there are so many experiences like that, that's when you realise, there's something cracking off here for sure.
Well, this is it, What was it you was going to say, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about Nan doing that is that when her husband was alive, he wouldn't let her touch the sky and stuff.
No.
Oh, I love it.
No, he was very old fashioned,
That's my job.
You can't change a plug, it's my job, this, that and the other. But I remember Steve telling me some stories about visions when people were about to die in his family. There was the Abergafen children. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
One, Steve?
Yeah, that was my great nan. She heard the children calling her.
Yeah.
Me nan, before she went, her son came to see him.
Yeah, Ian, who had died previously. She said she'd seen Ian. He'd come to visit her.
That's right.
A couple of days before she died. You know, it's like they're getting ready.
Yeah, and that's very common. And I have a lot of nurses and doctors on my courses, care workers, people that work with the dying, and it's very common for them to have visitors. And sometimes even in those last few minutes before they pass, people tell me things like this person might have been in a coma, or they might have been too weak to have sat up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden will sort of hoist themselves up in bed, big smile on their face, point to the corner of the room and say, "Oh, could you see that beautiful light?" Or, "Oh, Grandad's here, he's come to collect me." Fantastic. But I mean, how comforting is that to know that somebody's sort of on, that somebody's on their way to collect that person? I think it's amazing.
Well, I've always said the reason why I'm investigating the paranormal myself is because I want that confirmation.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm not finding it. So, but Debbie's there in the chat room. She's saying my grandma knew I had my son when my mum went to her went to visit her in hospital.
Oh, isn't that
So,
amazing?
you know.
Because often they get told, don't they?
Yeah.
They're told by visitors. And also, I think when they get close, sometimes when people get close to passing, they're more fluid within the body. The spirit is more fluid.
Yeah.
And they'll sometimes say, "Oh, I've been to visit so and so today."
Yeah.
And I think they genuinely have, but their body stayed behind in the hospital bed. But it's their spirit that's been to visit somebody. Yeah. And and I think this has gone on for years and years and years, and we all kind of go, "Oh, yes, you're hallucinating," but of course it's not that at all.
Yeah.
These experiences are absolutely real. I mean, they'll go floating off and come back and give you information like this, which is amazing. And they'll give you information that they couldn't have known about any other way. Of course it's real. I think, yeah.
And Andy 707 there is saying that my dad's mum, who's Welsh, dreamt of the Welsh village school being crushed. I don't know whether that was before it happened or after, but and Debbie says, my mum said Debbie has had her baby, and she turned around and said, yes, I know, she's had a little boy. She had not strung a sentence together for a few weeks as she had suffered a bad stroke.
Oh, wow.
So, so something must have told her. Somebody must have came through and told her, the night before, Andy said my dad's mum had dreamt about the Welsh village being crushed, the school being crushed. So it's obviously a prediction there.
Yeah. But I think people worry about that because a lot of people tell me about they've had these predictions or they pick things up and they really get upset because they say, who can I tell? What can I do about it? And I mean, usually you can't do anything. And it's not so much that you've got a prediction, it's that it's such an awful, horrible thing.
Yeah.
That the message that's coming from the collective unconscious, if you like, you just momentarily, connected to that. But often there isn't enough information for you to share that with anybody, and it's not something you can do anything about.
Yeah.
If you could, you'd be given more information. Sometimes you can, but with these big things, like whenever there's a plane crash or something like this, which reaches and touches people around the world in a big way, in most cases, there is no one person has enough information that they can do anything about it at all, and I think we just have to learn to accept that. It's really sad, but we can't do anything about it.
We had a guest on a few months back. It was either the beginning of the year or the later part of last year. Carla Wills Brandon. She writes about the departing visions of the dying.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning to her that when my uncle died, because butterflies seem to be significant.
Oh, yeah. I've got loads of butterfly stories in my book.
And what had happened was it was Christmas Eve, and she'd gone out. He said to her, "Go out and do what you got to do." And when she got back, he died. And when the paramedics had come, there was a Red Admiral flying about in the room, and even the paramedics said that's unusual for this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's always associated seeing this. Every time she sees a Red Admiral now, she says, "Oh, Ken's popped in,"
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, they're very common butterfly stories in my book. Sometimes it's a particular type of butterfly that seems to follow you around for the week.
Yeah.
They could they fly down into the coffin, into the grave, follow the coffin down.
Yeah.
They come along for a ride in the funeral cars, and sometimes they'll appear.
Yeah.
In the weeks afterwards, they'll appear.
She actually saw a dead. A few months later, wasn't it? She opened the drawer.
She opened the drawer, and there was a dead one in the drawer.
Perfect form, but a dead one in the drawer.
Oh, how amazing!
Yeah. And then
a more long-lasting sign.
And then a year to the day, she got up out of bed, and when she walked round to Ken's side of the bed, there was white feathers.
Fantastic.
By the side of the bed. Yeah. And she's still saying to me, "I wish you'll come to me,"
Yeah.
Because my cousin's boy, he was only a nipper, and he was sitting on the toilet, and she'd heard him laughing, and she'd gone up and said, "What are you laughing at?" And he said, "Grandad, great, Grandad, great." And he's laughing away, and Emma got a little bit worried, and And then he went, oh, he's gone, you know, like
Yeah.
kids do. And my Auntie Joni got so worried that she hadn't given him his last rites, so she got the vicar in, you know.
Oh.
So she was a little bit concerned, but obviously now she's there saying, you know, I wish she'd come back to me even more, you know. And she actually said a while ago, because she don't like me normally talking about the paranormal and what we do, but she's getting round to it. And she said to me one day, she rang me up. It was quite funny. She said, you're not going to believe what's happened. I said, what? She said, well, I came downstairs and there was this horrible stench. And I couldn't work out what it was. And I don't know why, but I just said, Ken, if that's you, can you take that horrible smell away? Because it's awful.
And bring it back in 15
And bring
minutes.
it back in 15 minutes.
Oh, I love it.
And it did. It
Yeah.
happened, you know. And she rang me back and she went, oh my God, I don't believe it.
Isn't it weird?
It is. But
Yeah,
she said it
yeah,
was
it's
horrible
weird.
smell.
But you know, it's very common for children to have these experiences.
Mm.
There are many theories as to why that's happening. Some people think it's because children have more recently left those heavenly realms. That's
Yeah.
the reason. I did hear one theory that they believe that some people believe that it's because children can see a wider spectrum of light than adults. I don't know
Yeah.
whether that's how true that is or not, but that's
Mhm.
another theory. And of course then there's another theory, which is that these children are you know, of a higher spiritual level than we are ourselves, and that they've come here specifically at this time to help us on the earth. You know, and it's probably a combination of all of the above.
Yeah.
But a friend of one of my daughters, she has a little boy, and for a long time he's 3, and a long time he's talked about his invisible friend, who he calls Mike.
Yeah.
And he'd seen a statue of the Archangel Michael in a church, and he said, look, Mummy, there's my friend Mike. And so he recognised, you know, the Archangel Michael, you know, as his invisible friend Mike. And this fabulous story that she told my daughter recently, that the little boy gone rushing into his mum's room in the middle of the night and said, Mummy, Mike says you have to get out of bed now.
Yeah.
And she sort of said, oh, darling, you're just having a nightmare. And he said, no, Mike woke me up and said, Mummy, you need to get out of bed now. So I think more to sort of humour him than anything, she got out of bed and said, you know, what's the matter, darling? And he said, Mike says there's a bee on your pillow and, you know, you need to pull back the covers. And she pulled back the covers on the bed, and on the pillow was a bee.
Oh, God.
And I think when you hear experiences like that,
Yeah.
you know, from sort of family who weren't necessarily massive believers before or even especially interested,
Yeah.
you know, coming from a small child, I mean, how do you explain that away?
This is it.
You know, the skeptics will listen and kind of
Yeah.
go, this stuff's a load of rubbish. And, you know, we've all heard that. But I would say, well, then what's that then? You know?
Yeah. It's like I remember I recalled a story a while ago where a young child was saying about my other mummy and where he was living before and all this and the other. You know, that must be very scary for a parent.
Yeah, but that is very common. I mean, one of my nephews sort of had a chat to his mum one day and started talking about when he died, and you know, he was talking about the fact that he died in a plane crash and hit a bridge.
Yeah.
And my daughter is fascinated with this type of phenomena.
Mm.
You know, and went and looked it up online to see if she could track down, and I think she found the name of somebody who they thought it probably was.
Wow.
Because, you know, as a little tiny child with no idea about the wars.
No.
You know, he was able to explain what he looked like and things like that. You know, kids are just amazing. And I mean, I wrote my book, Angel Kids, which is full of these types of experiences.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing we can do as parents is and grandparents, is just be open and interested. You know, learn as much as you can, so that it's not frightening to you.
Yeah.
These kids are amazing.
Do you think we should coax them then? Do you think we should allow them to take the path themselves, or?
Well, I think, you know,
because a lot of parents do sort of brush it, like they said, brush it aside.
Yeah, but you know, these kids are having these experiences anyway.
Mm.
And I think if you try and close it down, that's a natural part of them.
Yeah.
I mean, often they're not stupid. They soon learn if they mention something to a friend or somebody,
yeah.
You know, and they'll get closed down quite quickly. I think it's quite easy. You can talk to the child and say, you know, a lot of people don't understand this, or they don't believe it, and it's because they don't have these experiences themselves.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, you need to be open to it, because if you're open and interested, and you have an understanding of what the phenomena is about, you can help them.
Yes,
because they wake up in the night, like my granddaughter used to do. You know, she was frightened because she could see this man in her room, and I had these experiences as a kid too. You know, and then once she'd seen this photo and said, "Oh yes, that's the man," and "Oh, it's okay then, you know, that's your great granddad, he's your guardian angel," and of course then she's okay about it.
Yeah. Now there's something I want to take you back to your childhood when you first started getting this. Now I remember I was brought up by my grandmother, and I always remember my nan saying to me, "I've got a guardian angel," and this, that, and the other. Now, obviously, it's something we do tell children, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, they have got a guardian angel. And am I right in thinking it could be family member or it could not be? It doesn't matter.
Well, you know, if you look at the a guardian angel in a traditional sense, then a guardian angel is part of the hierarchy of angels. You know, angels as in a being of light created by God for many reasons, but including helping humankind.
Yeah.
So we're all designated a guardian angel as in, you know, a being of light. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
But there are loads and loads of children who have experiences where a deceased grandparent, or perhaps unluckily maybe a parent, sometimes a brother or sister, will appear to them in a dream, or sometimes they're wide awake.
Yeah.
And they'll appear to them and say, you know, "Don't worry, I'm still around.
Yeah.
I'm your guardian angel now."
Yeah.
So therefore, what they're saying is not that they suddenly turned into a light being, they're still a spirit. But what they're saying is they have ability to be able to watch over and, you know, to help us in many ways. And they absolutely do. You know, and in part of my investigation, I've kind of, you know, sometimes I've been able to talk to them and say, you know, "Are you allowed to do this?"
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, they're almost not. It's like there is a fine line between helping and interfering.
This is it.
But, you know, whatever, they don't care. You know, if they see their grandchild's in trouble and they can do something, they're going to do it. And I think it's fantastic.
Well, this is it. Andy's got a point there. He said a couple who are Hindu said how can ghosts exist if there's reincarnation? What do you think about this?
Oh, well, the two aren't mutually exclusive. I mean, ghosts and spirits are two different things in my opinion anyway. A ghost is a recording on some sort of recording on the atmosphere. That would be a traditional ghost.
Yeah.
A spirit is somebody that's in visitation, a real interactive intelligence that comes in to communicate or scare us, or sometimes they're just trapped here. So that's something completely different.
Yeah.
But I mean, reincarnation, there are as many spirits and many, many more spirits that are still hanging around heaven. Some who haven't been born into a human body because they're being born into many different types of body on other planets, on other realms. You know, reincarnation, we don't always reincarnate straight away. I mean, I absolutely believe in reincarnation without a doubt. But sometimes there's a big gap between reincarnation, what we would call hundreds of our Earth years. It doesn't work that way for them, but hundreds of our Earth years. And some literally come straight back into a body. You know, almost they don't go home, they come straight back.
Yeah.
And we know this because there are cases of somebody dies maybe before their time, and that happens occasionally. So, for example, there was one story of a lady who had a twin sister, and her twin sister died in an accident. And then many years later, this lady had, many months later, this lady had a baby. And this little girl, right from the time that she was a toddler, talked about when she died in this, you know, when she drowned, which is exactly what had happened to the sister.
Yeah.
And she talked about when we were little, Mummy, you know, as if she recalls, she remembers her life as the sister. So it was the same spirit that had come back.
Yeah.
I mean, some traditions have, you know, it's almost common that they expect that the granddad will come back as a grandchild. I mean, it's, you know, that doesn't always happen, of course. You know, you're not always born back into the same family. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to get the experiences you need to. You're being born into many different types of life. You know, not even just human life. You know, that sometimes you come back as a male, and sometimes you come back as a female, and sometimes you're rich, and sometimes you're poor.
This is it. You know, you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, when I come back, I want to be a dog." But I think it's just more animals will come back as something.
Well, I mean, normally it wouldn't normally work that way.
No.
Normally, you would progress through as an animal, and then you become a a human.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work that way.
Right.
You know, there's no one set rule. I mean, often dogs and cats will progress on to human lives because, I mean, they come as our partners in life and offer unconditional love as we do them.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can do better for a pet than to tell that pet how important they are to you and how much you love them and so on, because you're helping their own spiritual growth then. I mean, there's a lot of people, I'm sure you know the same, a lot of people would rather, live with their cat or dog than a human.
Yeah. I like Reiki Debs there is saying, is the human animal spirit and animal spirit separate? Yeah,
well, I mean, they are as such. Some people believe that an animal never becomes a human, and I also thought that for very many years, but then came across people who record lives as animals.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would have to say, with the knowledge that I now have, I would have to say that we appear to progress, from very simple life forms, even that people have, recollection of a life where they took their spirit, their soul essence, lived within, say, a rock.
Yeah.
I would imagine you have very limited learning of being a rock, but I mean, there must be something we can learn from it, I'm sure. So people have these memories, whether it's under hypnosis or sometimes, a dream, or they just have a knowing of it.
Yeah.
So, I guess, it's difficult as a human for me to say these things 100% for sure, because if you're going to say to me, how can you prove that? Well, that's kind of hard to do. But all I can say is that all of my books, all of my work is based on real life experiences, real things, either that I've experienced myself or that people have written and told me about. And of course I have hundreds and thousands of stories, and I can compare different stories from all over the world, and that is where my knowledge comes from.
Right. Now, I've just been looking at your website, and now you say you're an experienced expert specialising in angels and the afterlife.
Yeah.
First question is, what's the difference between angels and spirit guides?
Yeah.
Okay. And secondly, when you say that you're specialising in the afterlife, I've not really seen you actually say that you're a clairvoyant or anything like that.
Right, let's take your first question.
Okay.
So angels, as we were talking about earlier, if you're thinking of the word angel in the traditional sense, you're talking about a light being whose role is to protect and watch over you as a human being.
Yeah.
That's their main role. So it's big things, like love, protection, and that sort of, big things. They're not very good at helping you with paying the mortgage, for example, or your rent.
Yeah.
They don't really get that. That's not the sort of thing that angels do. So therefore, spirit guides are more helpful in that regard.
Right.
Spirit guides are usually, but not always, beings who've lived at least one human life. So they have an understanding of what it's like to be human.
Yeah.
Sometimes spirit guides can come from other realms, so what we would call alien beings, if you like. Normally, if somebody has an alien guide, they have more than one guide. But your spirit guide usually has full understanding of your life mission. So in other words, whatever you agreed to do when you came here, you said, I'd like to learn to be more patient, or this time, the spirit that's now reincarnated with my dad, I'm going to be more understanding of him, and, this lifetime we're going to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is that you plan to do, your spirit guide has your master list, if you like, your life plan, and your spirit guide is the one that helps you to stay on track. And to make sure you're in the right place at the right time to learn the lessons that you've agreed that you want to live beforehand.
Right. Okay.
So that's the difference between the two. And what was your second question?
About the fact that you mentioned that you're an expert in the afterlife, but you've never really seen you call yourself anything like a clairvoyant.
Yeah, I don't tend to. I'm a medium actually.
Right.
But I don't work as a medium.
No.
I get a lot of mediumship for my own family, and I get mediumship from my own family.
Yeah.
And for myself, I get a lot of insight and this, I know this is really rare.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I've had people before say to me, well, you know, that you can't do that. It doesn't work like that. And I said, but for me it does.
Yeah.
It always has. So I don't work as a medium in so much as I don't do stage mediumship.
No.
I don't tend to do psychic readings. I do a few angel card readings on my website.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've been a medium. It was one of the first things that came through for me. One of the first messages I had was, Jacky, you are a medium.
Oh, right, okay.
Which was one of the first messages I had.
Right.
So what I do is I tend to use the experiences that I have. So I write about everything in my book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hide anything. All the experiences that I've had, all the paranormal experiences, all the mediumship, it all goes in the book.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I meet people at a show, for example, they might come over and they're just chatting and they could be talking about something and they say, oh, I keep getting this person coming, I don't know who it is, and I'll say, oh, that's Andy. And they go, oh my God, you know, that's the name of my brother that died, how did you know?
Yeah.
And so it comes like that.
Yeah.
But I think if I was to say I'm a medium and start, you know, doing a theatre tour, it probably wouldn't work. You know, because it's not what I'm meant to do.
No.
I think the books, I feel like the books are what I'm meant to do.
Okay. So
if I was to describe myself, I call myself a paranormal experiences expert in inverted commas.
Yeah. Okay. Andy's asking, so are your books your main source of income?
You know, people always ask that. They were at one point, for sure.
Because you're the author of 17 books, 2 illustrated.
I've written 17 books, yeah. Yeah, at one point I absolutely would have said that for sure. Yeah, this is how ebooks have changed things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wish it still was the case. I'd love to say that I was earning a full living as a living as a full-time author. Yeah. No, I'm also a columnist for Fate and Fortune magazine.
Right.
I do angel card readings.
Uh-huh.
I do talks and workshops.
Yeah. I
write for lots of different magazines. I often provide true life stories for magazines, you know, where the magazines will say, you know, share your story with us and we'll pay you 50 quid or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do lots of different things, as well. Yeah.
Right, okay. So, I recalled when I was younger, I'll be honest with you, I've been hitting myself around the head, basically, verbally, since doing paranormal investigating for the past 10 years, saying to myself, I've not really seen anything that I can actually put my finger on and say it was paranormal. I'm what they call the skeptic psychic sort of thing, you know, because I'm always questioning things. But then for one reason or another, I was just laying there on the couch one day, watching TV, and all of a sudden I jumped up and Steve said, what's up with you? And I don't know why, and I hadn't thought of it before, and I'm nearly 50 now. Yeah. Yeah. And I just said that live on air. And I don't know why, but I actually recall when I was younger, you know, before the age of 10, it was, you know, I was probably about 7 or 8, maybe younger than that somebody sat on my bed.
Yeah.
And it was a man.
Yeah.
But where my bed was, one side of it was up against the wall, and that was the side he was sitting on.
Interesting.
You know, and when I spoke to my nan the following day, I said there was a man sitting on my bed, and he told me, you know, not to worry and all this, that, and the other. I'm not here to harm you. And then she said that was your granddad when I explained it to her.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You know, and then Steve said to me, well, that tells me that somewhere along the line you've got the gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you've not even acknowledged it. And it made me think, you know, and this was only in the last year that I actually jumped up and thought about this.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, whoa, where did that come from? Where did that come from in my memory?
See, maybe you weren't ready for it then. You know, I had an experience that I wrote about in my first book.
Yeah.
Where I recalled an old school friend who died in his 20s. He came to me in my first visitation experience. My body was asleep, fast asleep, but my mind was wide awake and lucid. And
yeah.
He appeared, he walked through a door into a room that was empty apart from 2 wooden chairs. I was sitting on one and he was sitting on the other.
Yeah.
And the first thing I said to him, in my very lucid state, was, what are you doing here? You're dead, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right? Now, that's really common. It's everybody uses words very similar to that. when it's a real spirit visitation. Their body's asleep, but their mind's awake. Yeah. So that was the first experience I'd had. Now he came to me and he told me loads and loads of things. We had a conversation, and afterwards, at the end of that conversation, whatever it was, I said yes, no problem. And then I said to him, "What can I do for you? Can I tell somebody you've been? Can I let your family know you're okay?" And he said no, and he went, and I was very confused, and I knew that we'd had an important conversation, but I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
So if you now fast forward to I was hovering around book 15.
Yeah.
And I suddenly, the memory of what he'd said to me came back to me. And what he'd said was, basically, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is we want you to write about these spirit visitations.
Yeah.
And so I'd agreed to it and then completely forgot about it. I mean, how weird is that?
I know. It's...
Because it comes to you when you need to remember it.
Yeah.
I mean, my first experience as a little girl was, so I had an angel experience when I was 5. I was nearly drowning, and, a spirit came to me and said, well, angels, I thought it was, come to me and said, you can drown if you want to, and if you don't, we'll help you back to shore.
Yeah.
So that's the short version. I forgot about that until I was in my 40s, early 40s. And suddenly, watching a program about angels, that memory came back to me. So it's really common. But you know what? I don't think it hurts to be a skeptic. I think, it's good that we question things, because there is so much information coming through now. Some of it's real, some of it isn't real.
Yeah.
People write and say to me, I keep getting this high whistling in my ear. Is it an angel? Well, I say the first thing I'd say is, go and get your ears checked out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not every experience is paranormal, and I certainly, I think you're wise to question everything.
Yeah. Now, I was talking to my sister before the show started, and she's a bit shy coming on and what have you, but she said to me, "Can you ask the lady, the angel lady?"
I'm no lady. No, I am.
Can you ask the lady? Can you invite angels into your home, and how would you do them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So how would you do it?
If you want to, you can buy a book and read loads of instructions on things to do. Or you can just say, angels, please work with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've written books, and other people have written books where they say, you can burn this candle and that candle and buy this crystal and say this and do that.
Yeah.
But, basically they're already there.
Yeah.
They need permission.
Like
Star Trek, there's this sort of universal law.
Yeah.
Where they need permission to be able to get involved. So many people will have an experience, their more dramatic experiences when they're in danger, they've been in a car crash, something like that, and we yell help.
Yeah. And
just the act of yelling help means you're saying, I give you permission to step in and assist me.
Yeah.
So it's, somebody just put here, intention is the key, and it's absolutely spot on, because it's all about, the way in which you are working. If your intention is that you're connecting with that loving, positive energy of your guardian angel, then that's what you're going to connect to. There's nothing scary about it.
No.
If you're working with love, likewise, if you want your deceased loved ones to connect to you, it's exactly the same thing. You're working with that loving energy. People that you loved on earth, that's what connects you. You sit and look at a photograph of somebody who's passed on.
Yeah. You're
connecting in a very loving way, remembering the good times that you'd had together. That's what brings them towards you. That's
really?
That's
Is it just as easy as that?
However, if your sister wants an excuse to go and buy some angel figurines and some new crystals, tell her to go and do that and just blame me.
Yeah, well,
Jacky said,
she's always buying angels.
I've got them all over the house. They're everywhere.
Yeah, as I say, when it comes to loved ones, I've been waiting over 30 years for confirmation from one person, and I don't feel as though I've had it yet. But then again, Steve always says to me that when I flatlined, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I remembered, I don't know whether I was dreaming, but I remembered seeing her and I wanted to be with her, but I was told to come back. he said, I still believe that you saw her then.
Of course you did.
You
That's
know.
absolutely spot on. Yeah, that is classic. I've read of experiences like that over and over again. That's exactly what they do. You see, and it's always a deceased loved one or an angel who is saying to you, it's not your time, you have to go back, and often they're the ones that shove you back in your body.
It's like Debs just said, that maybe they've been reincarnated. Well, somebody did say to me, if they've been reincarnated, they can't come back.
Well, they can and they can't.
Right.
I mean, the best thing to do, if you're interested in reading a bit more about that, is to read Dr. Michael Newton's book, Journey of Souls.
Yeah.
And Journey of Souls is about the hypnosis work that Dr. Newton did by accident, where he'd regressed somebody back to a life between lives.
Yeah.
And then he went on and wrote this fantastic book, Journey of Souls, and then another one, Destiny of Souls, where he recorded the experiences of people under very, very deep hypnotic trance. And he talks about how only a part of the soul comes into the human body, because, you know, the whole of the soul can't come into the human body in one go, because it's too, I mean, it just would blow us to bits. It's just too much. So some of us come with a larger percentage, some of us come with a smaller percentage.
Yeah.
And so although the spirit could be reincarnated, part of the spirit's reincarnated, part of the spirit, it still remains behind.
Right. Okay.
So it depends how much they've left behind. I mean, you can split the human, you can split the spirit. I mean, you know, sometimes it can go into two different bodies. So you can, in theory, you could be reincarnated into two different bodies at the same time.
Yeah.
Or potentially three. But then you're sort of, you know, it sounds a bit, this starts to sound a bit weird, doesn't it, when you say this?
That sounds a bit Harry Potter.
You know, then there's not enough there. You know, there's not enough to sort of, you know, you're going to be exhausted all the time.
Well, this is it.
So in theory, you know, you can reincarnate, and part of you is still behind. So, you know, if you said to somebody, wait for me, you know, when your time comes and you are allowed to go through the light, they're still going to be there to meet you on the other side.
Right. Okay.
You know, and depending on how much they've left behind, depends on how much they're able to do, you know, when you get to the other side.
Yeah.
But knowing that with loved ones, you reincarnate back with the same soul group over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, you might not be long before you're back with your soul group again anyway.
Right.
But I would say, I know Andy just thought I disagree.
Yeah.
Andy, go and read Dr. Michael Newton's Journey of Souls, for sure.
Yeah.
And then you'll see. You know, I don't want to try and persuade you. Read, have a look, and and once you've read it, I tell you, it's mind blowing.
Right.
It changes the way you think of life completely.
Yeah.
So Dr. Michael Newton, but also Dolores Cannon, she did a similar book where she also regressed people into very deep levels of trance and came up with the same results. Many people have copied his techniques and her techniques and come up with identical results. So that's the best way. Go and read and have a look and then decide for yourself.
Right, okay. So basically, 2014 is coming up.
Yeah.
What's happening with Jacky Newcomb?
Well, I'm hoping to do a lot more touring around.
Yeah.
I'm in talks with a new agent and would really like to do some more television. You know, maybe even a show. Yeah. You know, I've got close several times with things and then they faded away. TV's a fickle business.
Yeah.
You know, that's life, isn't it? So, you know, you'll see there'll be a lot more that you'll see on the website, on my events page. I've also developed some afterlife communication cards.
Yeah.
Called Messages from Heaven. And they'll be out in April. So that's using all the information that I've had over the years from people who have given me, you know, told me what they've been told from the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So that's the card. And I'm also looking at several different book ideas as well.
Right.
It's going to be another book of some sort.
Oh, good. That's all right then. we need more Jacky Newcomb out there, don't we?
Well, bless you.
Yeah. So, but as I say, you know, we love having you on the show. We love talking about the angels, you know, and the afterlife, and it is very comforting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that was one of the reasons I got involved in it in the first place, because my own dad had a car accident when I was just a little girl.
Yeah.
And I was terrified that he would die. And I think if I'd have known he was going to live to 77, despite all the accidents and illnesses he had, I'd probably had a different career.
Yeah.
So I started investigating for myself, really. I was interested in finding out, you know, what else was out there. Is the afterlife real? And this is when I was reading books by Dolores Cannon and Michael Newton and, you know, all of these others.
Yeah.
Reading about past lives, lives between lives, near-death experiences, the whole thing. I mean, I've probably read several thousand books on near-death experiences and past lives and lives between lives because, you know, it's the only way to know, really. And I started writing as a result of that. I wanted to know personally that there was something else. You know, I couldn't believe you die and that was it. It just didn't work for me, you know?
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the reason. I just wanted to know that there was more. Yeah, and then as I said, my dad managed to make it to 77. So, you know, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have panicked so much and I'd have probably done something else for a living.
Would you say it was a cliche that there's more angels around you at Christmas?
Yeah, I think they're just always there. I think we're more aware of them at Christmas.
Yeah.
Because that's the time that people who aren't normally interested are going to stick angel figurines in their house, or because they're on Christmas cards and things like that. You know, I think they're always there. You know, and I don't think it makes a difference really.
And is it like spirit guides? You need to acknowledge them and speak to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're still there even if you don't speak to them.
Yeah,
you know, it's not they don't go away.
No.
But I think when people, when you want that connection, you want proof, you want signs.
Yeah.
Then if you interact with them, you do tend to get more. I mean, for me, it comes in cycles. I might go weeks or months and really nothing happens. And even I'm at the stage where I'm thinking, you know, is this stuff real? And then, you know, something will happen and I'll get one sign after another, after another, after another.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, oh, of course it's real, don't be stupid. You know, but even I still want proof. You know, I'm just another human being. I want signs myself. I need to know, you know, that there's something more out there.
It was quite funny because I was just about to say something to you about the It's a Wonderful Life movie. Every time you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings. My cat just shook and her bell was ringing. I was just about to say that to you and she went and did that. So, but I thought that was quite funny. But do you feel that? Do you think could be possible?
Oh, anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
No, that's a movie.
I know it's a movie, but you know, it's nice to hear that if a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Yeah,
you know.
I know we're all softy, aren't we?
Oh yeah, yeah, and especially around about Christmas time.
I ring bells on purpose just in case.
Yeah, I get asked about that every Christmas. In fact, I think last year there was a piece in I can't even remember which magazine, but they were doing a piece about the movie and they interviewed me.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was now, but it was quite funny. I would do a lot more interviews at Christmas as well for magazines about angels. So there you go. They're more in the public consciousness, I think, because they're just everywhere, aren't they, at Christmas?
Right. And you have been on ghost hunts before, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I've been on ghost hunts before. I actually co-created a ghost hunt workshop CD with Barry John. Yeah, I've done ghost hunts. I don't do a lot of things like that. I used to get asked to do more.
Yeah.
I've done them mainly when either it's been something I've been asked to do for television, where there's been some sort of teaching purpose towards it, or perhaps it's a charity event or something. Maybe you know, they want somebody to come in and interview the celebrity who's on the ghost hunt or whatever. I do that. So yeah, I do all sorts of different things. Fingers in lots of pies. I never say no to anything normally if I can do it.
And can you briefly tell us about your latest book, Be an Angel, Clear the Clutter.
Yeah, I know, that's a weird one, isn't it? Look, so my latest book is about clutter clearing. That's nothing at all to do with ghosts.
No.
I know. Yes, Be an Angel, Clear That Clutter was it's still an experience. It's my experience. I'm talking about how I went through lots and lots of stuff. I was buried in stuff. You know, I wasn't as bad as these. You watch these hoarders or something on television.
Yeah, I've scouted from yeah,
shoulder deep in stuff. It was nothing like that. But it's just fun really. We'd inherited a lot of stuff after my father-in-law passed away.
Yeah.
And instead of doing what most people do, which is sell things and give it away, we extended the house.
Oh,
and then when I look back, I thought, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And so it took me many years to be able to work through the emotions of that. And one day this book started dictating itself in my head. So I thought, I know it's nothing to do with angels or afterlife or psychic children or any of the other things I've written about, but I thought, I just have to get this down.
Yeah.
So, my regular readers find it very familiar because it's full of short stories. It's very inspirational. So, if you've got piles of stuff in any corner of your house and you need a boot up the bum, this would do it in a fun way.
Yeah, yeah. We had a declutter recently, and then we moved.
Oh, good plan. Well, do you know what? I'll tell you what would be inspirational, perhaps, is the fact that when we moved down to Cornwall, we took. We actually had a van and a crew come with us because I said I'm not moving to Cornwall and doing that myself. And we had a specific size van, and we started clutter clearing then. And when we came back, we had the same size van and the same crew actually. Only this time that the van was only 3/4 full.
Yeah.
So I didn't quite realise by that we'd actually done quite a good job of getting rid of stuff. And then we moved again to the point that we're now in a house that's literally half the square footage.
God.
And it's quite a relief,
Yeah.
And the trouble is that stuff has an energy attached to it, particularly if it belongs to somebody else. So you inherit something of somebody else's, and that's wonderful if you love that object and you cherish it. But the trouble is if you don't particularly love the object, you end up keeping the energy that goes with it. And so it's a bit like, that spirit energy. If you're trying to read an object using psychometry, every time you touch that, it brings you back either a memory or it brings you back the energy of the person. I mean, worse if you inherit something and it's expensive and you hate it, and it belongs to somebody you also didn't like.
This is it.
So there's that same sort of spiritual attachment to objects again, So,
So, well, thanks a lot, Jacky, for coming on the show again.
Well, you're most welcome.
As I say, we do love having you on the show. And when next year sometime, if you've got something on the go or something to let us know about, a new book or something, please come back and tell us about it.
Well, I'd love that. That would be brilliant. But if anybody's got any questions after the show, they can find me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, or they can just go on my website, or just search Angel Lady and you'll find me.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm would be delighted to answer people's questions if they've got questions.
That's great. And please give our regards to your sister Madeline and
the
family, and have a nice Christmas.
Thank you.
And
you too.
And all the best for 2014.
Thank you, and everybody listening in.
Okay, thanks very much, my love. Take care.
Hello, bye.
Bye, Jacky.
Well, that was Jacky. She's in the chat room there as well, just for a little while if you want to speak to her. And as usual, a great interview with Jacky. We love having her on the show. She's always got something interesting to talk about. And angels is just one hell of a topic. We can go on forever. So, but yeah, it's been great, and really thank her for that. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a short break.
That's why she got me and Andy talking about different lives, past lives and stuff.
I got that. So we're going to have Andy on in a bit. So Jacky, stay. Andy's next. So that's what he's saying. The book I mentioned, Journey of the Souls, Dr. Michael Newton. So if you want to read that, It's recommended by Jacky Newcomb, and it will give you, as she said, a different perspective on life. So have a look. Yeah, Destiny of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. So anyway, I'm going to do a quick break. So
we've got all the news right here. Don't go away.
Okay, so even though there isn't much going on at the moment, we're going to let you know about Paranormal Events for You. Fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Yeah, so if you have a look at paranormaleventsforyou.com, and you will find there's quite a few coming on for next year, 2014. So why don't you just nip on over there and see whether there's anything in your area. And if you are a paranormal group, a medium, or if you have any diary dates that you would like to add to it, don't forget it is free. All you need to do is add your website to your advertisement, no prices, and because remember, it's collaboration, not competition. And we will gladly advertise you for free. That's what it's all about. Paranormal events and other interests like that, all in one place. Your one-stop paranormal shop.
And
so fed up. Oh, there we go. So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events. Available now. ParanormalEventsForYou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. ParanormalEventsForYou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Yeah, and just to let you know that the advertising there goes towards keeping the domain up and running and the website. That's what it's all for. So, okay, so if you do fancy letting us know about stuff like that. Okay.
yeah, please do.
Yeah. Now, I don't know whether John Mysteria is still in the chat room. He hasn't been on for a while, but
He is, because he just said good show tonight, Susan.
Oh, okay.
And give you a little kiss.
Oh, that's nice of him. Kiss to you and all. So I'm sure we'll get John back on the show again soon. But what we're going to do now is we're going to talk to Andy Mercer before he goes to bed. Okay. And Jacky there's just saying night, everyone. Please feel free to contact her on Facebook if you have any questions. Oh, bit my cheek then. And she'll answer everything. And she's on there several times a day. So sending lots of love. Okay. Right. Let's see. I've got a dozen copies with different commentaries. Copies? I don't know what he's on about. Right.
He's on about the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm glad you said that. the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Is that right? Right, okay.
It's close enough. Yes, Debs has got to go.
Yep, good night, Debs.
So good night, Debs. And speak to you soon.
If you're not back beforehand, have a nice Christmas. Right then, Mr. Mercer, are you ready to talk to us? Dun dun dun. See if we can get on. Yeah.
He said I said it correctly.
Like to change? Dun dun dun. Answer the Skype, please. Good evening, Andy.
Oh, that's not very good. It's still ringing.
It is.
Hello.
You need to turn your speakers down.
It is turned on.
Yeah,
it's on.
I think you need to come out. You need to come out the show because it's repeating itself.
You need to come out the show.
I have.
Have you?
Sounds off. Yeah.
Oh.
Hello. That's better.
That's better.
Oh, the cell phone's slightly still.
Perhaps it's you I can hear, Steve.
Me?
Yeah, you have to turn your speakers down.
Not wrong with my speakers.
How are you, Andy?
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Good, 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 good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I've get over an absolute stinking cold. As you know, I've been at teacher training for the last 8 weeks in a primary school.
Yeah.
I spent the entire time with a cold, but it just really knocked me off my socks at the weekend. Last week, well, Monday really, I suppose. And then kind of getting over that and just winding down. Generally, I haven't finished the placement, so I'm kind of knackered.
I bet. So you're off for Christmas now, are we?
I've got a couple of days in university, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, we're off to the British Library as part of my teacher training, which is quite nice. And then off till January the 6th. And I've got a large essay to write between then and now anyway. So I'll still be quite busy with work, but it's much quieter than it was the last couple of weeks.
Okay. So, right. So we're going to take you back to the 17th of November.
Yes.
Yes. That particular night that we had, which was a good show. Once we got all the technical bits out the way, isn't that right, John?
There were a few problems, weren't there?
Yeah, there was a few, but it wasn't too bad considering it was our first attempt. So we managed to get things working properly. Now,
and I hate to say it, but it was the ones in the field that were having the problems with getting the connection quite right. Mind you, we did say we were going to try and get together and do a test, but we
didn't get a chance.
Didn't get a chance. So,
but anyway. Maybe next time.
It worked.
It did work.
Yeah, it worked well, okay, yeah.
Right, now, so you were there at the cage. What was your impression of the cage?
Small. I knew it was quite small, but I was quite surprised how small it was. But
bird cage, parrot cage, pigeon cage.
Say again, what? What?
Was it a canary cage, a budgie cage?
Oh, right. No, it's effectively a 2-bedroom house, but the core of it, if you like, is literally that one up, one down room, tiny little room. But it looked like an average little house.
Yeah. We had 96 viewers that night.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was pretty damn impressive.
It was, wasn't it? I was hoping it didn't crash. Live stream used to say no more than 50, but I think they've changed that now.
They've changed that now.
You know what I mean? So that was good. So,
well, I think a lot of them might have been the friends of the owner of the house, actually.
But it was really, really good.
There was a lot of friends on from John as well.
Yeah.
And yourself.
So anyway, you've gone to the cage, and as I say, your impression of it, apart from small, did it seem eerie? Was it?
There was certainly an atmosphere, without a doubt. There were a couple of occasions when I felt something standing close to the fire in the main sort of heart of the building, the oldest part, certainly. Yeah. There was one particular occasion which was quite incredible. I don't know if anyone is listening has been in the place, but if you're standing in the little lounge, there is a dividing wall in the lounge, basically the back door where the toilet is, but there's no, the beams are there, but there's no actual wall, so you can see straight through it. And I was standing with my back to the back door and the toilets to my side, just standing there. The toilet door and the little cupboard inside the toilet, both doors were closed shut. And in a moment, literally in an instant, they were both wide open. Now, there was no sound. The doors are actually reasonably stiff. You know, that you can move them, obviously, with your hand, but it takes a little bit of work. There was no breeze, no wind, nothing. And yet those doors went from being closed to being wide open, both of them, in the blink of an eye. It was literally like we turned away to back again, they were open.
Theory?
Absolutely no idea. There was no one there who could have opened them. So something definitely strange happened there, without a doubt.
Right. Now, while you were there, you did a past life regression on John.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we lost part of the recording for that.
Yeah. Yes, I heard that. But the atmosphere in the room was quite odd as well.
Yeah. So can you take us through what actually happened?
Well, for what I recall, John initially seemed to be picking up, to me, sounded like some kind of either kind of concentration camp or something like that, some kind of prison camp, something along those lines. His breathing got very agitated a couple of times, which I was rather concerned about. They had that damn huge painting right behind his head, which I don't think really helped.
No.
So whether it was picking up stuff to do with that painting or to do with the building, I really couldn't say. But clearly he was experiencing something and catching into some level. But after a relatively short period of time, he stopped really responding or replying to me, just instead breathing very heavily. So I didn't really get an awful lot out of it, to be honest with you. But certainly the impression of something connected with a prison camp or concentration camp or something like that, or labour camp. And again, no idea of a time scale, but I felt relatively recently.
Well, I must admit, when we managed to get back to you and hear what was going on, you seemed as though you was having trouble bringing him back.
He was having some difficulty at first, but it's not uncommon if they've gone quite deep. into this sort of experience that it is a little struggle to bring him back to ordinary reality relatively easily. So that's not that uncommon when it comes to doing stuff with supposed past lives. So I wasn't overly concerned by that, because I have a whole host of things I would have done, steps taken to bring him back if I needed to, and he was even past step one, really.
Yeah.
So you just have to allow a little more time to bring someone back from that kind of much deeper regression work. Sorry if excuse this bloody cold.
That's okay. Perhaps John can give us a ring soon and tell us what he thought and how he felt about it. So, I'll grab my mobile just in case he does. So, what did you think to the actual painting itself?
Well, quite odd, I have to say.
You was going on about how you was looking forward to seeing it and this, that, and the other.
First of all, it's physically much larger than I realised it was. It's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've got stranger pictures on my own walls in this house. To look at as a picture, it's nothing unusual. I mean, it looks a bit creepy, but the one thing I did notice, and others noticed as well, the most amazing thing, in fact, actually, if you close your eyes and move your hand over the painting, you'll notice that a certain spot on the painting is colder than the rest of the painting. No, I'm not touching it, just very close to it. When you open your eyes and look, it's around the mouth. You can actually feel it's colder, which is really quite strange. But I spent quite a bit of time in the picture, with the picture on my own for a little while, actually, and I didn't feel particularly uncomfortable about it. I did feel, now, whether it was the picture or what, I don't know, but almost felt there was some kind of conflict going on in the whole building, as if different energies, if you like, were in conflict with each other. Now, one of them, I think, was the building itself, its own sort of resident energies, if you like, and it was fighting against something else. Now, whether something else was the painting, I don't know, but it certainly felt strange.
Okay. Well, I must admit, it was when it was sat here, it was quite interesting, wasn't it?
It was, obviously not here, but
not here.
It's one of them paintings that, although you don't particularly want to look at it,
no,
you are drawn to it. Your eyes are drawn back to it. You're trying to work out just what's going on in there.
Yeah.
One question I would ask is, the painting is supposed to be have a lot of paranormal connected to it, and so is the building. So how do you discern which is causing which is the building and which is the painting?
I'm sorry, Steve, I'm having real problems understanding you. You sound like you're underwater.
Right, try again.
The painting itself is supposed to have a lot of paranormal connected to it.
It's better. Yeah.
And so's the house. So
definitely the house.
How do you discern which is the painting and which is the house?
Well, this was the problem, you see. To me, it just felt like there were two competing energies. I would say one of them felt like it was the house, definitely. And the other one, I could only surmise, was coming from the painting. I don't know, but there was definitely a feeling of a disturbance in the Force, Luke. It's like Star Wars now. But I felt like I had a disturbance within the building. A colleague, a friend of mine, came along, Richard. He's I don't drive, as you know, and he's sort of a driver for a few things. He's quite sensitive as well, and he said similar things. It felt quite odd and quite strange. Now, I had used a little thing which I made myself recently, which is called a bone flute, which is designed to summon spirits.
Right.
So I took that along and had a quick play on my flute. So hopefully that made a difference as well, and increased some energy levels in there. So that's pretty good.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to ask John to give us a call so that he can come on the line as well. So, and tell us how he felt about the past life regression.
Yeah, and he also has some news for us.
Does he? Oh. So, if you want to give us a ring, John, I'm waiting.
I also, while waiting for John, I had quite a powerful vision, if you like, image in my mind, sitting in a particular chair by the fire.
Yeah.
General that someone had sat in almost exactly the same spot, an old man who was looking out the back door, which you were in line with, but looking over empty fields, whereas, of course, there are houses and buildings now.
Yeah.
Real strong connection, just like a visual replay, if you like, of the past. It was very strong, very clear. And I sat there for a good few minutes and got a bit more information of an older man who'd moved into the house as a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
He saw himself as a bit of a wizard or a cunning man, to use the proper term, and he liked the idea of the reputation of the house as his reputation for centuries. I feel he moved in, but didn't stay very long. So don't know why. The owner was saying that people don't stay there for very long. She's the longest to have owned it in a very, very long time. So that's quite impressive.
Well, we've got John on the line with us. Hello, John.
Hey.
John, are you there? Yeah. How are you? Right.
Oh, John.
Can you hear him all right? there? Okay. Can you hear him at all, Andy?
A bit quiet, but yeah, I can hear him.
Right, okay. So how did you feel about being past life regressed then, John?
He's very low on here.
Okay. Hold on a second. Go on, start again.
I was like inside a tunnel whilst I was being regressed.
Yeah.
And I was waiting next in turn to go out to this parade ground, which was like a dusty
that's right.
parade ground. And I remember seeing him in mind of this young boy on the floor, and although I couldn't see who was hurting him, he was being kicked and punched. But I couldn't see who was doing it. It was in like it was in like a defensive position where he had his hands and his over his head and his legs close to his chest, and he was lying on the floor. And I was next in line for like a kicking, really. And I remember knowing that there was people behind me who was next in line after me. And it's at that point I felt tears coming down my face, and it was quite weird, really. And it all, like Andy said, it all stemmed from like a concentration camp connection. Because I remember seeing to the right of me 2 German soldiers. Now, to be honest with you, when I saw these 2 German soldiers at the side of me, I thought to myself, is it things in my mind that I already know?
Right.
But the thing is that was strange about it is the young boy on the parade ground being hit and beat.
Yeah.
And that wasn't in my mind.
No.
You know what I mean? That was a very, very strange thing about it, really.
And you remember that, Andy?
Yes, it's coming back to me now, I must admit, actually.
Yeah.
It's been just a hectic couple of weeks and everything has been blanked out of my head, but I remember all of that, John saying that. It was in the position where he was kind of a few people behind what was going on, but it was quite close by.
Yeah.
And that feeling of it was about to happen to him next, that was quite a strong impression. He looked very concerned. I think at one point it might have been tears, but certainly looked very panicked and worried.
Yeah. Would you go back again, Andy?
I'd go back, well, certainly, yeah. I'll spend the night on my own, happily.
Yeah.
But
you know me.
But would you, John? Would you be regressed again?
Yeah, I would, because the connection's getting stronger with the painting. Something happened a couple of weeks ago which was amazing. And it was in front of 22 people all together. You know, like I've got the easel which I brought down to the studio last time I came.
Yeah.
I put the paint on the easel. This was in Draco Tunnels, and I asked the painting. Well, what I did is that the energies behind the painting is quite strong. So I stood behind the easel, behind the painting, and I asked for the painting to turn around and face me, and it did.
No way.
On the actual easel, it kind of rocked back and forwards. It didn't get all the way round, to be honest. It kind of nearly got round.
Wow.
But I had to calm it down because it was kind of rocking back and forwards that much that I was scared of the painting falling over. So I kind of put my hand to the side of it and I said, calm down a bit. And it did. It calmed down a bit.
Good God, I'd love to have seen that.
There was a lad there. It was a complete skeptic all night.
Yeah.
And he spent quite a few minutes chatting to different people and stuff, and he even checked the easel to see if there was anything that I could have put on there to make it do that, and he couldn't find anything, and he said he's definitely going to come back to an event again to see what's going to happen with the painting. So the painting's getting a stronger connection with me, really. I know it sounds daft, but
do you not worry about this, John?
Sorry?
Do you not worry about this connection?
Well, not particularly, because I think it's something I can control, but it's something that I need to carry forward, really, because I think the connection's going to be stronger.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to find more information out.
Right. Okay.
I think it's something I've got to do, really.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a plot for a film, doesn't it?
It does.
It certainly does. I was thinking that.
But like you say, it wasn't just me there. There was, I can't remember. No, there was 18 people there. Sorry.
Yeah.
And also,
was there any chance it was caught on camera? Was there?
Unfortunately, no. You know what? The thing is I have a problem with that because every time we get cameras near the painting, they don't work that well.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happened on that night at the cage.
Yeah.
It's like it drains the energy from whatever it's close to, really. But I don't know. I think, and it doesn't really respond that well to being videoed as well. It's like like Steve Griffith said to me, and I think it's quite true. Spirits are not stupid at the end of the day.
Oh no.
They're not going to perform like monkeys in front of a camera, if you know.
No. So.
But I have to sort of think of some way of doing it. I mean, maybe like rather than having loads of cameras like I've done before, maybe just have like I don't know, just a small small video recorder.
Yeah, yeah. What was you going to say, Andy?
I've got about a dozen or so pictures I took of the painting.
Yeah.
Whenever I used the flash, it was just full of mist.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was just a problem with the camera. But every single shot, but one of them has got a very strange circle or semicircle, I only see half of it, at the side of the picture. And I've just gone through, because I remember seeing it back at the time, and I haven't really looked at them since because I've been so busy.
Yeah.
And no other image has got this strange semicircle beside the picture.
What?
So it's not something that was in the room. I don't know what it is.
Mm.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's fine.
I've got to try and upload it to my Facebook page so people can have a look at it, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
John?
Makes you wonder whether the other half of the circle is behind the picture.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the other side of it. It's like it's beside the picture, and the other half of the circle is outside my camera. But John?
Yeah.
John, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear.
Was there anything above the chair that you sat in next to the picture?
Not I know of, no.
I don't remember
So
it.
there's definitely something here. Now,
Right.
I've got a couple of pictures further on that show the same area again, and no, there's nothing in it. So there is something in this picture that's not just the light bleed from. I think the flash was too bright for the room, and I kept getting all these like big semicircles of light, but this is nothing like any of them.
I remember in the chat room they were kept saying there was somebody behind you, especially when you was doing the seance.
There was. Andy, the
Yes.
picture you're talking about, is it with John on the left of the picture as you look at it?
This is where I took this on when I was in there on my own.
Because when you were sitting to the left of the picture, when you were doing the seance, everybody was saying, and we were seeing it as well, there was actually somebody standing right behind you.
Oh, right, okay. Not that I was aware of. This isn't then. This is when I was in the room on my own with the painting, in the original room where John did the lone vigil.
Yeah.
This is earlier in the evening. So I spent about 20 minutes in there on my own with just me and the picture.
Yeah.
Basically asked it to do something for me. And taking loads of shots just through my phone. And I'm going to try and see if I can upload it now while we're talking. So you guys carry on. I'll see if I can get it.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether it was the same side.
Yeah, because there was a lot of people saying about when you was doing the seance and that, there was somebody between you and John,
and
wasn't
picture.
there? And the picture.
The picture was behind.
Yeah, the picture was in that area. So
yeah. So, but it was a very interesting night, I must admit.
Definitely.
You know, we managed to upload the audio on it. Obviously, we didn't manage to do the video. So, but as I say, the audio's on YouTube anyway, John.
Yeah.
So, you know, I managed to catch up with all my radio replays with moving and everything.
You had 3 to do in one night.
Yeah.
Stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning I finished.
I think it's something that we need to do again, because there's so much more to give with this.
Yeah.
And like I say, the connection's getting stronger. Even now shakes the responses of yes and keep still for no.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's doing that quite a lot now.
I remember when we did our lone vigil, when I was sitting there, like I said, I could have swore I heard it was vibrating, but I wasn't sure. But you said that's the sort of thing it does.
Yeah, it does indeed, yeah. And it's kind of, it's been doing that now for the last month last 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's been building up to it and getting stronger and stronger, and now it's starting to really do things. I was chatting to Sean the other day, Sean Robinson, who actually owns a painting.
Yeah.
and he said that he also started to get a connection with it whilst he was in the house.
Right.
And he lost the connection when he put it in the cellar because he had to because of his wife because she hates it. My wife Sue, as you know, she hates it.
Yeah.
Like it, and she won't have it in the house. You know,
Right.
no chance. And it's just a thing that you got to work with. I mean, I go to events. It's in the car on the back seat. I know it sounds stupid, but I even talk to it in the car. And one day I was driving to somewhere, I can't remember where I was going now, and I heard a little conversation in the car going on. The radio wasn't on, and it was I couldn't understand what was being said.
Yeah.
But there was a definite conversation going on.
Wow.
And
I
there was
suppose
only
it's
me
best
in the
to talk
car.
to it in the car so you don't crash.
John, question for you.
Yep.
Right now, I'm getting a strong feeling that at some point, while it's been in the car, you've actually had a warning about what's ahead of you on the road.
So I've had a warning of what's ahead of me.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't. Do you know what? I can't really think, to be honest. I don't. I can't think, to be honest, of something.
Right. So
Yeah,
you don't feel as though you've had a bit of a sense into your head that
you need to slow down.
You need to slow down for a reason, and something's been ahead or whatever.
It may have something that I may have done and not thought about it. You know? I can't remember, to be honest.
So I don't know whether Steve get a feeling that maybe in a way it's protecting you as well.
So it could be intuitive. It's just something that he's thought it, but it's actually come from elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I know I felt it myself when I've been out driving.
Yeah.
That for some reason I've just needed to slow down.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen why.
No.
But I've had that feeling, so I've naturally enough I've obeyed it.
Yeah. So.
You know, it's always been said. The painting that it's pure evil, and I'm now thinking that no, it's not. It's trying to communicate.
Yeah.
And I think it's going down the roads of for me of the concentration camp.
Right.
And there's interesting things going on, which Sean will probably. Well, so Sean said it'd have more details for me soon. What actually happened, we never knew the origins of the painting really, except for that it came from his grandmother. Now, when I started to talk to Sean the other day about this connection with concentration camps, he kind of went quiet for a while, and then he said, do you know, he says, my grandmother used to live near people who actually spent some time in Belton.
Yeah.
So he said he's going to try and find out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's definitely beginning to sound like the person that actually painted it and had spent time there. Maybe one of the Jewish prisoners of war.
Yes, that would seem the case. But when I've asked the painting questions, it's kind of responded that it's not the artist, but it's the subject of the painting.
Say that again, Andy.
Sorry, I didn't read in the John's feed. I've just put a link on the forum page there to my Facebook page, which shows the photograph I was just talking about.
Yeah, I've just seen
a circular thing above the chair. I've no idea what that is.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Did you see it, John?
Yeah, I've just clicked on it now.
We like listy stuff. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's that thing above the chair.
And there's a lot of funny light wispiness going on, isn't there?
Well, all that the Orby type stuff is in every picture. I just think I'm a bit dusty up there, but it's that semicircle, the little lights above and beneath it. I don't know what that is.
Weird.
Yeah.
So
not in any other shop. It's only in that shop.
I don't remember that being there.
No, I don't remember that being there either.
I say I've got other photographs taken of the same area, and that is not in it.
So weird.
Very odd.
So
Rent a Ghost said it looks like a mirror.
But if there was not there, then it's a bit low to be a mirror, though, isn't it?
Yeah. There's nothing there.
No.
Nothing
so
not above that chair.
So what you've been Sorry, Andy.
They got through the conversation. The room itself was tiny, you know. You wouldn't get much there at all. There was that chair, the laptop, and a few bits of junk in the opposite corner, and that was it.
So, I see.
It almost looks as if the Anguish Man is looking at that thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Very strange.
It does, doesn't it?
So what else have you been up to then, Mr. Mysteria?
Well, it's pretty quiet at the moment, sort of having a nice break and stuff, but it's kind of all revolving around the Anguish Man at the moment, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding that if I leave it too long, I lose a connection a little bit.
Right.
And it's something that I have to do, something like once every 2 weeks, and it seems to get a stronger connection with that. What I'm careful of not doing is working it too hard.
Yeah.
Because as you know, if you get places, locations that are done to death, and
this is it.
They go flat, don't they?
Yeah.
But the paintings is getting stronger, and it does seem to work better when I work with it every 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. So, if Sue doesn't like it, then I can't see it sitting around the table for Christmas dinner.
No.
So 2014 then, John, are you going back to Drakelow now that we found out that everything was fine there?
Oh yeah, we will be doing. I'm looking for like different interesting locations to take the painting and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I've kind of got a few ideas,
right.
Which I can't discuss yet.
No. Okay. So
it's still on the planning stage.
Ooh, secret.
In case it doesn't work out. But,
John, Andy wants you.
John, are you going to Coalhouse Fort any time soon, just down the road from me?
Yeah, we are indeed. Steve the Baron Gill, who was a guest on the KTPF Paranormal Community Show on the Cage Night. We're doing a charity event for Baron Motorsports. It's getting limbless veterans, to sort of enjoy the thrill of motorsports, really. And as you can imagine, it's quite an expensive thing to do. So we're doing an event which is at Coalhouse Fort, and the date of that is April I'm just sort of whizzing through my diary now. I think it's April the 4th, actually. Let's have a quick check.
April, did you say?
Yeah.
April. If it's possible to come along, I'd absolutely love to, if it's possible.
Oh, no, sorry, the 5th of April.
5th of April, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's Steve, the Baron Gill, and he's got all the veterans there as well.
Rent a Ghost. John said, why don't you take it to Newsham Hospital?
Yeah, but any ideas, you guys out there, if you keep them coming, and I'll look at them. You know
that place in Liverpool?
Yeah, maybe that might be an idea, yeah.
So, and there's, you've got a place called the Moat House in Tamworth. I don't know if you've ever done there.
Yeah, we've done it a couple of times. We don't go back there again because it's kind of being taken over now by like a residency.
Right, okay. And there's a new place coming up that is down Coventry Way.
All right.
I don't know whether that's too far for you. I'll send you the details over.
Yes,
okay,
please.
And so it's something that we're going to have a look at and see what's what.
Oh,
and you can give us your opinion on the Moat House while you're at it.
Yeah,
I'll send it over to you by Facebook, and you can check it out. Okay.
Can I give a little plug before I go? The reason being is because we're actually taking the painting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been there before, but it's a place called where the hell is it? I can't find it now. It's a place called the North East Aircraft Museum in Sunderland.
Oh yeah. I've not been there, but yeah.
It's an amazing location, very active, and the reason why I'm taking it there is because it's World War II connection.
Yeah. It's one we considered, but I'm not sure about it. It's a bit of a long drive, but for our team that is. So,
yeah.
But it sounds good. It's a place I'd like to go to. So personally, but because I'm into World War II stuff.
Well, it should be an interesting one because, like I say, you know, who
Maybe
knows?
if we're not out, we can
that one.
book on and go in.
Yeah, maybe. So
Yeah, that's
when's that?
That's on the 12th of April.
12th of April. Right. Okay.
Oh no, sorry, no, I'm telling lies. No.
No.
12th of April. It's the 19th of April.
19th of April. Right. Okie dokie. So don't forget, you're going to put your stuff on for next year for Paranormal Events for You.
I will.
Yes. Then I can see where you're going. So, you know, if you forget, I'll do it for you. So anyway, but thanks for letting us know what's going on. Any other news you've got to tell us?
No, like I say, it's all around the Anguish Man at the moment because it's got to be.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
an ongoing saga, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an ongoing experiment, really. Yeah, right. And I think it's going to get more interesting.
Okay, then. Well, thanks a lot, John, and keep in touch with us.
Will do.
All right, and maybe pop round for a coffee in the new house.
I will love to.
All right, I'll speak to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, Andy,
hello.
There's a question there for Andy.
There's a question there for you. Do you know if anyone does invest on wanted flats in London?
Not as far as I know. London's one of those funny places. I don't know of any groups who actually operate in London.
Yeah.
There are even the sort of professional organisations you like Entrepreneurial Society have dropped out of doing things there now because you just literally you can't get in anywhere. No. Even it's not a question that they've been too expensive. Just everyone says no, go away.
No, this is it.
Most groups don't even bother.
Yeah. So, but so you're going to come on in the new year, aren't you, and talk about something?
Oh yeah, I'll come and talk about rubbish you want.
We're going to be talking about the occult stuff, aren't we, the next time? Yeah. And so you'll have to give me a date for when you're going to come on. So, but while you're on, just to let everybody else know, as well as yourself, if you haven't seen it, next week we've got Barbara Micklejohn free. She's talking about shamanism.
Oh.
So that should be interesting. The following week, we have Karen Vance Hammond, who's talking about her new book, Secrets in the Shallows, which was co-written by Kimberly Huddle-Bruliette, if that's pronounced right. And then in January, on the first Sunday, we've got Amy Vickers coming on with an update of the Star Child project and what's happening next after the death of Lloyd Pye. So, that's on the, let me just double check. I think it's the 5th. And one that might interest you the week after, we have a young gentleman, you'd probably love me to calling him that, by the name of Uri Geller.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes. So, yes, 5th of January, we've got Amy Vickers.
Showbiz and Super Spy.
And the 12th of January, we've got the world's most famous and controversial psychic, Uri Geller. So that should be an interesting one. Yeah. So he's suggested that I read The Secret Life of Uri Geller. But to saying that, I've Googled and I've found a 2.5 hour thing on YouTube of the same thing, so I'm going to watch that as well. So that'll give me some idea.
Watch that instead.
Watch that instead. I'm better off watching than I am reading, to be honest with you.
Yeah, John said we've got to hide the cutlery.
So yeah, John said we've got to hide the cutlery, but apparently he was a psychic spy. So how much do you know of Mr. Uri?
Me? Well, what everyone else knows, I suppose you've seen in the media. Started off, I don't know what I think of the guy, if I believe he's genuine or not.
Apparently,
both have come from space aliens. He was an Israel as a child, which worries me a bit. But
yeah,
what's his name? The magician fella.
What magician? Darren Brown?
No.
Oh.
The one that put the money up. What's his name?
Joe Powell.
Don't be silly, woman.
What magician?
He used to be a magician. He tests psychics.
Oh, that guy.
Randy.
Think who he is. Randy.
That's it, yeah, Mr. Randy.
Well,
him. Yeah.
Apparently, he's a controversial mentalist, a paranormal expert, and a spoon bender. Has had a life in front of the cameras, a life surrounded by controversy, a life dotted with amazing psychic demonstrations. I'm reading this off the BBC site, to be precise, right? But most people don't know that away from the bent cutlery and the broken watches, he has been leading a second convert life as a psychic spy. Dun dun dun.
Hey.
Working secretly and without recognition for nearly 30 years, this secret life has included work for the military and intelligence agencies on 3 continents. Indeed, the scientists who first did rigorous research on Geller more than 40 years ago and concluded that he has a phenomenal gift and were funded by the CIA.
And Mossad.
So, what do you think to that?
Pile of poo.
Will you be listening in,
I
though?
know Russians tried experimenting with that kind of remote viewing in before the collapse of the Soviet Union, which is so many things they're supposed to have done before the collapse of the Soviet Union, so records disappeared, etc., etc.
Yeah.
There are reports, second and third hand reports, CIA tried these sorts of things. They probably have tried them, but whether it actually works, God alone knows, really.
Well, I've just put the link on
you need
to
to
the...
seek some kind of definitive proof of real evidence that they have made some kind of contact and remote viewing and that kind of thing is what I assume he's talking about. He's actually genuinely worked. So I don't know.
Well, I've just put the link on the chat room for the Uri Geller thing.
For anybody wants to have a look at it.
For anyone wants to have a look at it, you can buy the book Uri Geller, CIA Spy, from Amazon, and all proceeds goes to his charity apparently. But yeah, it looks quite interesting. So I'm going to have a look at that before we have him on, and it's the full uncut version apparently.
Oh,
so
cut out then.
So
we can quiz the man.
So we can have a look at that and quiz him on what's going on. So there is a lesser version there as well, which is about 59 minutes. But maybe the uncut version.
That's 2.5 hours long, this version, isn't it?
Yeah. So
well, it's there's got to be more to him than bending spoons.
Oh, there's got to be. You know what I mean? If you go onto his website, he's into all this sort of stuff, though, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He is an illusionist as well.
The one thing I don't want to talk to him about is Michael Piggin Jackson.
Oh no. No.
Definitely.
Even though that's his good friend. It
might be a good friend, but it goes on and on about it. And
well, no, this is it.
Let him rest.
But as I say, he's got a thing on there about scientific and paranormal. He's done several studies on that, and so there's quite a lot that we could be talking to him about. So maybe you can join in on that one.
All night talking to him.
Well, I didn't know, but apparently he went on MH.
Yes, I think he was
missed
on
that
MH.
one.
Yeah, I think he did pop on there somewhere along the line. So, but yeah, so that would be quite interesting, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'd love to have a chat with that guy.
Yeah. So maybe you could come on Skype because he will be on the phone.
He might not like the responses.
Certainly, I'll ask you about his supposed UFO experience that gave him these special powers, because he used to talk about that a lot years ago, but doesn't mention it at all now. It's like
it seems to be you played something earlier, and apparently that it was John Lennon that said that, and he gave him a rock or something.
Yeah,
he gave him something.
Yeah, this will come in. You're right. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
which probably sounded fantastic in the '60s, but now sounds a bit ludicrous. So.
Well, I'm going to let you go, Andy.
Yeah, so I need to head off soon. I've got.
Well, thank you for coming on, and we'll sort out a date and sort something out for your conversation, whatever it may be. Maybe past life regression.
Yeah, whatever.
So, or hypnotism.
Yeah, hypnosis, not hypnotism. That was like last week. Hypnosis.
Yeah. Hypnosis.
Yes, there is a distinction between hypnosis and hypnotism.
We did have a hypnotist on once, didn't we? Not in the what's name. We had Pete Wall on. Didn't we?
Pete on. He does past life regression and that kind of thing.
You mean down in Essex?
No, Peter Wall.
Oh, Wall for the mall. I say
no. Pete Wall. No, he's up this end. He comes from Barnsley, and he's an hypnotherapist, and he's also he's a dippy, as I call him. He's a dippy hypney or whatever.
Yeah, he's got all the letters.
Yeah, and he does past life regression. We had him on within the first couple of months of us doing the show, and so it'd be good to get some hypnotherapy back on again.
Yeah, well, I don't do it professionally anymore, but obviously I haven't forgotten what I know.
Yeah. Well,
as I say, a psychotherapist uses hypnosis, slightly different to a hypnotist.
John says I've got to do it live with you.
You were.
In the hub.
In the hub. That means you'll have to come up
Yeah,
here.
I'll come up one sometime then.
Yeah, why not?
Well, we got a spare bed.
Spare bedroom.
Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah, why not? So
Didn't know just live on the show. That'd be good.
it would be good, wouldn't it? Well, anyway, I'll let you go.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll speak to you again next week on chat.
I'm sure. I'll be
All
around.
right? And take care and stop having a go at Elvis. You've gone off Chelsea, now you're having a go at my Elvis.
Oh, I know. It's a world combination. My God, never mind. All right, see you soon, guys.
See you soon. Ta-ra.
Yeah, see you, Andy.
Bye.
Well, that was Mr. Andy Mercer.
Yes, we always have fun with Andy, don't we?
Yeah.
So, we're in conversations and interesting stuff that he talks about.
He has a world of information.
Perhaps we should start calling him the Oracle. So, because he does know a lot, doesn't he? And he does.
I will call 707.
Oracle 707, or the 707 Oracle.
Yes.
So, but anyway, we're going to call it a day now.
I can't say I agree with everything he says, but he does promote discussion, which is good.
Which is good. So, what we're going to do is we've told you what's coming soon. So look out for all that. Please watch this space. There will be more coming through.
He said he's been called worse.
And as I said,
this is where it's at.
we will be here next week at the same time, 8:30, on the same channel at the KTPF Community Talk Show
with
Barbara Micklejohn Free. I didn't know where you wanted me to go with that. And talking about shamanism, and it's on. You can get us on www.ktpf.co.uk or at livestream.com/KTPF. And until next time, thank you very much for being with us. Good night to everyone, and remember, keep the paranormal friendly. And that's right.
That's right. See you later, guys.
Bye.
And Andy said he's worked with Barbara.
To see in the night, to measure the spike, to see how cold it's been. I buy my kit so I won't forget the ghosties that I have seen. The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.